Good morning, you guys. So it may be morning to you. Well, it's morning to me, but I guess if you're watching this, it may not be morning to you. Well, I just wanted to, yeah, say good morning. Good job. So, we are on our way to church. And then my husband was talking, my husband and I were praying last night, and he just had some great insight. So we are going to go visit him at the hospital in a little bit. Well, I'm dropping the kids off at my aunt's house because we don't want them to be exposed to the TB at all. So yeah. So my husband has a word, he said, and he just wants to share it with you guys. So we're gonna go there, see how he is, and yeah. So thanks for joining us again. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.
A life of prioritizing the eternal. That's really what it is. And the eternal sometimes eludes us. It's elusive because we're here in the temple, and all we see is this life right here, in the here and the now. But we need to be different. Our life is to prioritize the things of heaven, not the things of earth. And many times for us to do and to act upon those things of heaven, it's not going to be convenient.
No. This is your deal. You said that you had something. I told everybody you had something to share.
You already told him that?
Yes.
Oh. Well, hey guys, I have something to share.
This isn't a talk show.
Oh. So let's talk about something I talked about. I'm actually going to ask you questions for one, and then I'll go through. So my last update, if you guys watch, if you didn't, go ahead, follow me, Davey Ingram Facebook, Davey Ingram Twitter. I am not Davey Ingram on Pinterest. That's my handle. But I talked about the last thing about worship and our response to worship in times of struggle. And I want to hear from your opinion. What do you think?
You have an update that you're going to be in here for maybe another month.
Update, I'm going to be in here for another month.
Maybe.
Give or take. Maybe, maybe not. My doctor's very honest, and he goes, you're probably going to be in here for another month. It's possible that you get out earlier, but it's probable that it'll be a month. So that's the update, but my initial response is the same that I respond to everything, and that's worship. That's how I get through things, and I'll go into why I do that, but then I wanted to get your opinion on when it comes to dealing with it. How do you respond when you first figure out that, hey, I've been in there for 4 weeks, we think it's the end, and we realize we may only be halfway there? How do you respond?
At first I hung up on you.
You gotta speak up. The mask is.
Yeah.
The mask
At
is
first, thank you. At first I hung up on you. That was my first initial response.
For what it's worth, she hangs up on me a lot, guys.
I do not.
Just kidding.
I was a bit in shock, and and to be honest, my initial response isn't worship.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna be honest, I'm not gonna give you a Christian answer and to just encourage you guys to go straight into worship. It's not. My first response was I hung up on my husband. I was in the doctor's office with my kids getting their checkup, and I kind of went into panic mode again. I went into like, are you kidding me, Lord? Like, what the heck? Where are we gonna see breakthrough? And I think that's the same. Is it the same night I called you?
Yeah.
It was the same night I called him, and I was in tears. I was on my knees. So I guess worship isn't my first response. My first response is like yelling and praying.
Mm-hmm.
And so that night I called Davey, and I was like, I know you are going to be in the hospital for a month. I was like, but I need the prayer right now.
Yeah.
And I got on my knees, and I just had my husband pray over me, and that's my response.
Yeah.
When it happened.
And I think either response isn't wrong. You know, I think that the Christian thing, and although my wife says, yeah, my initial response was to hang up on him. I don't do the Christian thing. Yeah, I do the Christian thing. So does that mean I'm holier than my wife? Probably. But I'm kidding. I'm definitely not. She's definitely the holier out of us too. But I think that prayer and worship do go hand in hand. But what I found for me, at least, is that a lot of times when I'm confronted with difficulty, there's actually a lot. There's 3 reasons why I worship. Above all, it's because in the midst of my struggle, in the midst of me being dealt bad news, and best believe saying, hey, you've been in here for 4 weeks, well, prepare for 4 weeks more, is probably the worst news that I received, but I also took it the best because of how I've been coping. But my initial response isn't prayer, because a lot of times I'm in a place where I just don't know the words to say. I don't know what to pray. I don't know what to say to him. Oftentimes I'm pissed off at God, so I don't even want to speak to him. And for me, worship is a way where songs are people who've gone before me, people who've experienced pain or people who've experienced setback, have already gone there. They've struggled for months, sometimes years, and they put that struggle into a song and put it into words. So in essence, I am benefiting from past struggles of other people. And I'm able to take their words and their prayers and sing it back to God when I don't know my own words to sing, my own words to say.
I love the way you are more extroverted than I am, and I'm more introverted than you are. And you just said a little while ago, you said, my first response isn't to pray because I can't find the words. Meanwhile, in every other situation, Davy Ingram has words for everything, but the way he relates to God is more of an introverted way to kind of go inside and like worship, whereas I'm a more introverted person, and I can't find the right words for any situation, but my first response is to like go at it.
The other 2 reasons that I worship is because, like I said in my last vlog, and if you don't follow me, Davy Ingram on Instagram, Davy Ingram on Twitter, and on Pinterest, I am not Davy Ingram. That's my Pinterest handle. But at the end, I talked about Job, and Job went through a tremendous amount of suffering, and towards the end, it said he tore his clothes, he grieved, and he worshipped. So there's this whole idea that people have when it comes to God and when it comes to suffering. There's the idea of Satan is attacking you, right? Trying to get you down, trying to distract you, or whatever the case may be. And the other idea is that God is allowing something in your life to happen. God is allowing this to happen to prove more faith in you, to develop faith in you. For whatever reason, God's allowing this to happen. And to my response is the same for both of those. Because if I truly believe that Satan is attacking me, then what better way to slap him in the face than to say, Satan, you stand right there, give me what you got, and while you're attacking me, my first response is going to be worship. Because that sends a message to him that no matter what you do, I'm not going to turn my back. So cut it out, quit trying, because it's not going to happen.
And it's great like that God finds us worthy enough to even put us through.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. And that's the other coin, because if it's not Satan attacking me, and if it's God saying, hey, you're worthy enough, and I'm going to promote you to pain because I want to get the glory out of that, then when God allows something to happen and my initial response is worship, it sends a signal to God that, God, I trust you. And you're allowing this pain in my life for a reason, and I'm going to worship you to allow you to know that I am still trusting in you. I still have faith in you. I'm still there. I'm not falling apart. So whatever the case may be, my initial response is worship, because if it's the enemy, I want to tell him, you can't break me. And if it's God doing it and allowing it, I want to tell God, I'm not broken. So that's my initial response to both of those. And then once I get through that place of worship, and then I'm able to process what just happened, and I'm able to believe more easily the promises that God has, the reasoning, and it's more resolute, and then I'm able to call you and just say, hey, it's going to be all right. So when we were talking, one of the things that I said that I wanted to do for the new year is I don't want to be in here if I have to be in here for another month. And just so you know, the doctors say that it's possible for me to leave before a month, although not probable. But if I have to be in here for another month with a question mark and maybe longer, maybe shorter, I just don't want to waste my time in here.
But even if you're not in here for another month, you don't want to waste your time.
Yeah. I don't want to waste my time at all, even if it's for a day. So one of the things I said is we got so many people praying for us. But what I realize is being in here has given me enough time to, one, reflect and be okay with where I'm at and allow myself to process when confronted with difficulties. But what I notice is that I'm going through something, and everyone that I know is going through something as well. So the battles that you may be facing may not seem to be on the same level as mine, right? It may seem like, well, the battle I'm facing is nowhere near, being in isolation for a month and not seeing your family, and that may be true. However, some of you may be viewing this and saying, your isolation is nowhere near the struggle that I'm going through, right? So there's different varying degrees, but what I realize is that no matter what, when you're struggling, there's the idea that you either run to God or you run away from God. You either worship God or you don't. You either pray to Him or you don't. And I feel, whether or not you're a believer, whether or not you're, don't believe in God, or you're an atheist, whatever the case may be, I feel, by evidence in my life, that the only response is to run towards Him, run towards worship, run towards prayer. With that being said, I do know that some people experience pain so deeply that they physically can't run. They emotionally can't run to Him. Or people have done that and have been let down so much that they're exhausted and don't want to run to Him because they don't want to feel disappointed when the results aren't there. So to that I say, I've got a lot of time in here, and Danielle is just at home with 2 kids. So she's got even more time than I have because all she's doing is watching 2 kids. So I'm kidding, by the way. What I wanted to do is in the comments or inboxes or whatever the case may be, I wanted to devote ourselves to prayer for you guys. So if you guys are battling something, if you're going through something, I really want to step in and pray for you guys.
Share your name that you got in Africa or no?
Oh yeah, in Africa they gave everyone an African name, and it'd be like whatever. They give you a name and you go by that name, and everyone would call you that name. It's like your African nickname. And the name that they gave me was Nontamdazo, and I went by that name the entire time I was in Africa. And it wasn't till the second to last week that a lady came up to me and she goes, "Do you know what Nontamdazo means?" And I'm like, "No." And she goes, "It means he who prays." Which was insane because through a series of events, my life in Africa was shaped by prayer. When I came back, it was shaped by prayer. So all that to say,
I fell in love with you because of your prayers.
She fell in love with me. She heard me pray, and she instantly fell in love with me. That's actually not a joke. That is definitely 100% true. Danielle first heard me pray, she fell in love with me, and then she immediately heard me talk and fell right out of love with me. So I want to dedicate myself to prayer for you guys. But whatever degree of pain and difficulty you're going through, I want to either pray for you, if you're in that place where you just can't pray, you're in that place where you really don't believe, I want to pray for you, I want to believe for you. And if you're at a place where you are praying and you're not seeing breakthrough, then we want to pray with you. We want to believe with you. And if you're at the place where you're going through something and you've got a whole army of people praying for you and believing for you, we want to join you in prayer and we want to join you in believing. So in the comments, let us know. Inbox us, Davey, Ingram. I'll be tagged up here somewhere. And Danielle will be tagged as well. So
and tagged down here. YouTube, you're tagged down here. Facebook, you're tagged up here.
And Instagram, you're tagged over there.
No.
And Pinterest, don't worry, my Pinterest. I got the most followers on Pinterest. That is true. I have the most followers on Pinterest. I don't know what it is, but I'm just really Pinteresty.
Okay.
Anything else you want to say?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
Say bye.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye.